Pause for a moment, sir. We want to go to a live event that's happening right now. We have the Vice President of the United States, Mike Pence, speaking alongside the acting President of South Korea, giving statements. Let's listen.
대통령님의 취임 후 첫 한국 함께 방한한 가족분들과 일행들께도 따뜻한 환영의 인사를 전합니다.
Good afternoon. First of all, I would like to wholeheartedly welcome Vice President Pence on his first visit to Korea, and I would also like to extend my warmest welcome to his family and delegation.
펜스 부통령님의 선친께서는 한국전 당시에 우리의 자유와 민주주의를 수호하기 위해서 헌신했던 한국전 참전 용사입니다. 오늘 오전 펜스 부통령께서는 DMZ 지역을 방문해서 굳건한 연합 방위 태세를 점검하고 강력한 대북 억지의 의지를 재확인하셨습니다. 이는 개인적인 특별한 인연뿐만 아니라 60년을 넘는 한미 동맹의 깊은 연륜과 공고함을 상징적으로 보여주는 것이라고 하겠습니다.
Vice President Pence's late father was a Korean War veteran who had devoted himself to the defense of our freedom and democracy during the Korean War. And this morning, Vice President Pence visited the demilitarized zone to inspect our stalwart combined defense posture and reconfirm our strong will to deter North Korea. This symbolizes not only a special personal tie, but also the depth and sturdiness of our alliance that has lasted over 60 years.
특히 북한의 핵 미사일 위협과 도발로 인해서 한반도의 안보 정세가 엄중해지는 상황에서 우리 펜스 부통령님이 취임 후 첫 아시아 방문국으로 한국을 찾은 것은 한미 동맹의 발전과 북한의 핵 미사일 위협 대처에 대한 미국 신행정부의 확고한 입장을 보여주는 것으로서 매우 시의적절하고 의미가 깊다고 생각합니다.
In particular, at this time when the security situation on the Korean Peninsula is dire due to North Korea's nuclear and missile provocations, Vice President Pence's visit to Korea as his first destination in Asia since taking office shows the firm stance of the new U.S. administration on developing our alliance and responding to North Korea's nuclear and missile threats. As such, I believe Vice President Pence's visit is timely and meaningful.
오늘 펜스 부통령님과 저는 한미동맹이 양국 간의 긴밀한 협력과 공조를 기반으로 한반도 그리고 동북아의 평화와 번영을 위한 불가결의 핵심 축이자 또 범세계적인 도전 해결에도 함께하는 성공적인 전략 동맹으로 발전해 왔다는데 공감을 했습니다. 그리고 한미 동맹은 앞으로도 안보, 경제, 통상 그리고 글로벌 협력을 중심으로 더욱 강력한 동맹을 만들어 나갈 것이라는 확고한 의지를 다시 한번 확인했습니다.
Today, the Vice President and I shared the view that on the basis of close cooperation and collaboration, the ROK-US alliance has grown into an indispensable linchpin for peace and security on the Korean Peninsula and in Northeast Asia, as well as a successful strategic alliance that works together to resolve global challenges. We have also reconfirmed our unwavering will to continue to make our alliance even stronger through further cooperation in the areas of security, economy and trade, and global issues.
열흘 전인 4월 8일 트럼프 대통령님과의 통화에서도 미중 정상회담의 결과와 앞으로의 공조 방안에 대해 논의한 바가 있습니다마는 오늘 펜스 부통령님과도 북한의 핵 미사일 위협의 엄중성과 시급성의 인식을 같이 하고 확고한 북핵 불용의 원칙하에 글로벌 대북 압박망을 더욱 촘촘히 하고 제재를 철저히 이행함으로써 북한의 전략적 셈법을 바꾸기 위한 노력을 배가해 나가기로 했습니다.
10 days ago, on April 10th, I spoke with President Trump on the results of the U.S.-China summit and ways to work together going forward. Today, with Vice President Pence, we shared the understanding on the gravity and urgency of North Korea's nuclear and missile threat, and agreed to double our efforts to change North Korea's strategic calculations by further tightening the global network of pressure on North Korea and thoroughly implementing sanctions under the unwavering principle of denying North Korea nuclear weapons.
또한 이 문제에 있어서 중국의 건설적인 노력과 역할이 긴요하다는 공동의 인식하에서 지난번 미-중 정상회의의 결과를 평가하고 중국과의 협력을 면밀히 강화해 나가는 한편 북한의 추가 도발 시에는 이를 토대로 해서 강력한 징벌적 조치를 조속히 취해 나가기로 했습니다.
Furthermore, under the shared view that China's constructive efforts and role are critical, we applaud the results of the recent U.S.-China summit, and we will closely strengthen our cooperation with China. If North Korea commits another provocation, we will swiftly implement intensive punitive measures based on our cooperation with China.
이와 함께 갈수록 고도화되는 북한의 핵, 미사일 위협에 대응해서 확장 억제를 포함한 대북 억지력 제고와 연합 방위 태세의 강화를 위한 제반 조치들을 지속 추진해 나가기로 하였으며 주한 미군의 사드가 조속히 배치 운영되도록 함으로써 북한의 위협에 상응한 한미 동맹의 대비 태세를 더욱 강화하기로 하였습니다.
At the same time, in response to North Korea's continuously advancing nuclear and missile threat, we have agreed to continue to pursue various measures to strengthen our deterrence capabilities and combined defense posture, to include extended deterrence. We have also agreed to further strengthen the readiness posture of the ROK-US alliance in response to North Korea's growing threat by ensuring the early deployment and operation of the USFK's THAAD system.
이와 관련해서 저는 최근 미-중 정상회담을 비롯한 여러 계기에 미국 측이 주한 미군 사드 배치와 관련한 중국 측의 부당한 조치에 대해서 분명한 입장을 밝힌 것을 평가하였습니다. 양측은 앞으로도 이러한 부당한 조치가 조속히 중단되도록 함께 노력해 나가기로 했습니다.
In this respect, I appreciate the United States taking a clear position on various occasions, including at the U.S.-China summit, with regard to China's unfair actions in connection with USFK's deployment of THAAD. We have agreed to continue to work together so that such unfair actions may come to an end at an early date.
아울러 우리는 이와 같은 주요 현안들에 대한 대처와 해결에 있어서 가장 중요한 것은 양국 간의 물샐 틈 없는 공조이며 모든 관련 정책과 조치는 앞으로도 양국 간 한치의 빈틈도 없는 긴밀한 협의와 조율하에 취해 나갈 것이라는데 전적으로 인식을 같이 했습니다.
Furthermore, we fully shared the view that in responding to and resolving such critical issues, the watertight collaboration between our two countries is of the utmost importance, and that all future policies and measures will be made under totally seamless cooperation and coordination.
또한 한미 양국이 글로벌 파트너로서 범세계적 현안 해결에 있어서도 함께 노력하자는데 공감했습니다.
Furthermore, as global partners, we have also agreed to work together to resolve global issues.
미국의 신행정부 출범 이후 양국 간 긴밀한 협의와 공조가 지속 발전되고 있음을 의미 있게 생각하면서 오늘 펜스 부통령님과의 만남이 한미 동맹 발전을 위한 또 하나의 뜻깊은 계기가 되리라고 확신합니다. 감사합니다.
It is truly meaningful that close cooperation and collaboration has continued to develop since the launch of the new U.S. administration, and I am confident that today's meeting with Vice President Pence will serve as yet another meaningful occasion for the further development of the ROK-US alliance. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Anyang Hashimnika. To Acting President Hwang Kyo-ahn, thank you for your kind words and the hospitality you've shown me and my family in welcoming us to the Republic of Korea, my very first stop in the Asian Pacific as Vice President of the United States. It's a great honor for me to be in South Korea today, and I bring greetings from the President of the United States, President Donald Trump. And on his behalf, I'm here to express the unwavering support of the United States for our long-standing alliance with South Korea. President Trump and I are grateful for your strong partnership with the United States. We commend you personally for your steady hand in this time of transition in South Korea. The President and our entire administration admire the South Korean people's commitment to the rule of law and the democratic process, and we look forward to the upcoming election with great anticipation. While change is coming on May the 9th, the people of South Korea may be assured, whatever change happens in your elections, the commitment of the United States to South Korea's safety and security will remain unchanged.
안녕하십니까. 황교안 대통령 대행님, 저와 저희 가족들에 대한 환영과 환대 감사드립니다. 나는 부통령으로서 아시아태평양 방문의 첫 번째 기착지로 한국을 선택하였습니다. 그리고 오늘 이 자리에 오게 된 것을 매우 영광으로 생각합니다. 미 합중국 도널드 트럼프 대통령의 안부를 여러분들께 전해드립니다. 그리고 대통령을 대신하여서 오랜 동맹국인 한국에 대해 미국에 흔들리지 않는 지지를 표명합니다. 트럼프 대통령과 나는 한국과 미국과의 강한 파트너십에 감사드립니다. 또 한국의 전환기를 잘 관리해 나가고 있는 황 대행님 그리고 한국 국민들께 치아드립니다. 트럼프 대통령과 미 전 행정부는 법치와 민주적 프로세스에 대한 한국민의 의지를 존중하고 또 한국 대통령 선거를 기대하고 있습니다. 5월 9일 한국의 변화는 오겠지만 한국 국민들에게 확신을 드리고 싶은 것은 그 선거의 결과가 어떻든 간에 미국의 한국의 안전과 안보에 대한 의지는 확고할 것이다 라는 것입니다.
On behalf of the President of the United States, my message to the people of South Korea is this. We are with you 100%. Even in these troubled times, we stand with you for a free and secure future. The United States of America stands shoulder to shoulder with the Republic of Korea, and the service and vigilance of some 37,500 U.S. soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines on this frontier of freedom stands as a testament to the enduring partnership between our people. The alliance between South Korea and the United States is the linchpin of peace and security on the Korean Peninsula and indeed throughout the Asian Pacific. The United States' commitment to South Korea is ironclad and immutable. And under President Trump's leadership, I know our alliance will even be stronger. Our nations will be safer, and the Asia Pacific will be more secure.
미국 대통령을 대신하여서 한국민에 대한 저의 메시지는 다음과 같습니다. 우리는 여러분과 함께 100% 함께할 것입니다. 이런 어려운 시기에도 우리는 자유롭고 안전한 미래를 위해서 여러분과 함께할 것입니다. 그리고 미국은 한국과 함께 또 37,500명의 미군과 함께 미군의 해군과 공군과 또 해병대와 함께 자유의 경계선에서 우리 양 국민들의 파트너십을 통해서 함께 할 것입니다. 한국과 미국의 동맹은 한반도 그리고 아시아 태평양 지역의 평화와 안전의 핵심 축입니다. 미국의 한국에 대한 의지는 철갑과 같이 공고합니다. 그리고 트럼프 대통령의 리더십 하에서 우리 한미 동맹은 더욱더 강해질 것이고 또 우리 양국은 더욱더 안전해질 것이며 아시아 태평양 지역은 더욱더 안전할 것입니다.
Nowhere is that more evident than with our commitment to confront the region's most dangerous and urgent threat to peace and security, the regime in North Korea. Since 1992, the United States and our allies have stood together for a denuclearized Korean peninsula. We hope to achieve this objective through peaceable means, but all options are on the table. Just in the past 2 weeks, the world witnessed the strength and resolve of our new president in actions taken in Syria and Afghanistan. North Korea would do well not to test his resolve or the strength of the armed forces of the United States in this region. We will continue to deploy the THAAD missile defense system as a defensive measure called for by the alliance and for the alliance. We will continue to evolve a comprehensive set of capabilities to ensure the security of South Korea. And as our Secretary of Defense made clear here in South Korea not long ago, we will defeat any attack and we will meet any use of conventional or nuclear weapons with an overwhelming and effective response.
우리의 굳건한 동맹은 이 지역의 가장 위험하고 또 시급한 위협인 북한에 대처하는 데 있어서 더욱더 잘 보여지고 있습니다. 1992년 이후 미국과 우리 동맹은 비핵화된 한반도를 위해서 함께 노력하였습니다. 그리고 우리는 이 목적을 평화적인 방식으로 달성하기를 원합니다. 그렇지만 모든 옵션은 테이블 위에 있습니다. 지난 2주 동안 시리아와 아프가니스탄에서 택한 우리의 행동에 의해서 전 세계는 우리 새로운 대통령의 힘과 결의를 목도하였습니다. 북한은 우리 대통령의 결의를 시험하거나 또는 이 지역 미군의 힘을 시험하지 않는 것이 좋을 것입니다. 우리는 계속 방어적인 조치인 THAAD 미사일 방어 시스템을 동맹에 의해서 또 동맹을 위해서 개진할 것입니다. 또 그리고 한국의 안보를 위해서 포괄적인 능력 세트를 계속 발전시킬 것입니다. 그리고 국방장관이 얼마 전 한국에서 분명하게 밝혔듯이 우리는 어떠한 공격도 퇴치할 것이고 또 어떠한 재래식 또는 핵무기의 도전도 압도적이고 또 효과적인 대응에 의해서 대처할 것입니다.
Strategic patience has been the approach of the last American administration and beyond. For more than 2 decades, the United States and our allies have worked to peacefully dismantle North Korea's nuclear program and alleviate the suffering of their people. But at every step of the way, North Korea answered our overtures with willful deception, broken promises, and nuclear and missile tests. Over the past 18 months, North Korea has conducted 2 unlawful nuclear tests and an unprecedented number of ballistic missile tests, even conducting a failed missile launch as I traveled here for this visit. The era of strategic patience is over.
전략적인 인내는 지난 미국 행정부 그리고 그 전의 접근 방식이었습니다. 그리고 지난 20년 동안 미국과 우리 동맹국들은 북한의 핵 프로그램을 해체시키고 또한 북한 국민들의 고난을 또 돕기 위해서 평화적으로 노력해 왔습니다. 그렇지만 그 모든 단계에서 북한은 우리의 시도를 기만과 또 깨어진 약속과 핵과 미사일 시험으로 대응하였습니다. 지난 18개월 동안 북한은 2번의 불법적인 핵실험을 하였고 또 전례가 없는 많은 수의 탄도미사일 시험을 발사하였습니다. 그리고 또 내가 한국으로 오는 와중에도 실패하였지만 미사일 발사를 감행하였습니다. 전략적 인내의 시대는 끝났습니다.
Earlier this month, President Trump spoke with you, Acting President Wang, to reaffirm the strength of our alliance. As I reassured you today, we will continue to closely consult with South Korea and your leadership as we make decisions moving forward. We also call on other regional powers and the entire international community to join us to confront North Korea and demand that it abandon its nuclear and ballistic missile programs, to turn away from its renewed hostility toward its neighbor, and to end the repression of its own people.
이번 달 초 트럼프 대통령은 황 권한대행님과 함께 통화를 하면서 한미동맹의 힘을 재확인한 바 있습니다. 그리고 또 나는 오늘 황 대행께 우리는 한국과 모든 문제에 있어서 긴밀하게 공조하고 의논할 것임을 말씀드렸습니다. 우리는 또 이뿐만 아니라 모든 지역의 국가들 그리고 전체 국제사회가 우리가 북한을 대처하는 데 함께할 것을 촉구하고 또한 북한은 그 핵과 탄도미사일 프로그램을 포기하며 인접국들에 대한 그러한 적대적 행위를 끝내고 또 자국민에 대한 억압을 종식시킬 것을 촉구합니다.
Earlier this month, President Trump met with Chinese President Xi at the Southern White House. The 2 leaders noted the urgency of the threat posed by North Korea's weapons programs, and each of them reaffirmed their commitment to a denuclearized Korean peninsula during that meeting on April the 7th. They also committed to fully implement UN Security Council resolutions and to increase cooperation to convince North Korea to abandon its illicit weapons program. It is heartening to see China commit to these actions, but the United States is troubled by China's economic retaliation against South Korea for taking appropriate steps to defend itself. The better path would be for China to address the North Korean threat that is actually making such defensive measures necessary. Now, while issues like that remain, the President and I have great confidence that China will properly deal with North Korea. But as President Trump made clear just a few short days ago, if China is unable to deal with North Korea, the United States and our allies will.
이번 달 초 트럼프 대통령은 남쪽의 백악관에서 중국의 시진핑 주석과 함께 만났습니다. 이 정상 4월 7일에 있었던 이 정상회담에서 두 지도자들은 북한 무기 프로그램의 위협의 시급성에 대해서 얘기를 나누었고 또한 비핵화된 한반도에 대한 의지를 재확인한 바 있습니다. 그리고 또 두 정상들은 유엔 안보리 결의안을 완전히 준수할 것을 밝혔고 그리고 또 북한이 불법적인 무기 프로그램을 포기할 것을 함께 설득하자고 합의한 바 있습니다. 중국의 이러한 의지 표명은 매우 고무적입니다. 그렇지만 미국은 중국이 한국이 자국을 방어하기 위해서 적절한 조치를 취하는 데 대해서 경제적인 보복 조치를 취한 것은 문제가 있다고 봅니다. 그보다 중국은 이러한 방어 조치를 필요하게 만드는 북한의 위협을 관리하는 것이 더 적절할 것입니다. 이러한 여러 가지 문제가 있지만 트럼프 대통령과 나는 중국이 북한을 적절하게 대처할 것이다 라는 데 큰 자신감을 가지고 있습니다. 그러나 트럼프 대통령이 며칠 전에 분명히 밝혔듯이 만일 중국이 북한을 대처하지 못한다면 미국과 우리 동맹국들이 할 것입니다.
So today it is my privilege on behalf of President Trump to reaffirm the United States' enduring commitment to the security and prosperity of South Korea and to ensure the people of South Korea of our unbreakable bond. We're bound together by our shared values, but also by our shared sacrifice. A free and democratic South Korea was forged in the fires of sacrifice by soldiers from both our lands. And my father was one of them. 65 years ago, Second Lieutenant Edward J. Pence of the 45th Infantry Division in the United States Army fought alongside brave South Korean forces to win the freedom of this land. While he came home to raise a family, he had friends in uniform from America and Korea who went home to eternity. So too, the friendship between our two free nations is eternal. We have bled together. We have prospered together. And on that foundation, the people of the United States of America and South Korea will face the future together. With courage, determination, and faith, we go together. Kachi, Kapshida. So thank you, Mr. Acting President, for your hospitality. It is a great, great honor to be with you today.
오늘 나는 트럼프 대통령을 대신해서 미국의 한국에 대한
All right, facing the future together, we heard there from Mike Pence, the Vice President of the US, delivering a very clear message to North Korea. It would do well not to test President Trump's resolve. Also said the US will defeat any attack from North Korea and gave his 100% support to South Korea. We also heard a lot of concern there about China, the critical role that it should play. We will talk about that, and also the early deployment of the THAAD defence system. Let's bring in Paula Hancock now with more from Seoul. And Paula, there are a lot of headlines coming out of that. But the big one, of course, is how much they're relying on China.
That's right, Rosemary. There was certainly some sign of heartening responses from China. We heard from Vice President Pence saying after that meeting between President Xi Jinping and President Trump that they were seeing in a positive light what was happening. But they also then pointed out that about China's economic retaliation against South Korea because of this U.S. missile defense system, THAAD, which is being deployed here in South Korea. Now, it's an economic boycott that China hasn't officially acknowledged, but South Korea and the United States have called for them to stop it. But we did hear from both the acting president of South Korea and Vice President Pence that THAAD will be deployed as soon as possible. It's already started to come in over recent months, and they said that it will be operational as soon as possible, as it is needed for the defense of South Korea. Now, you did pick up on the most interesting thing I thought that Mr. Pence had said, and that was referring to the attack on Syria, the airbase in Syria, and also that, of course, the Moab, the mother of all bombs that was dropped in Afghanistan. Now, Vice President Pence made a direct link from those two to North Korea. There had been lots of speculation as to whether or not that was a message to North Korea. He made that direct link, saying that North Korea would do well not to test his resolve. So that's really a very strong statement from Vice President Pence.
It was interesting to hear the Vice President point out that the era of strategic patience is over, pointing out, Paula, that strategic patience has been the strategy of past administrations, and also saying that the Trump administration has taken action in other countries, has taken action in Syria, has taken action in Afghanistan, pointing to those actions to show that the United States means business.
That's right, and this was certainly the headline that I took from it. Now, he did say once again, yes, strategic patience is over, as the U.S. Secretary of State had said here in Korea when he was here just a matter of weeks ago. And he said, again, all options are on the table. We're hearing this more and more from not just Pence, but also other Trump administration officials saying that obviously the preferred method of sorting out the North Korean crisis is peaceful means. And we also heard from Pence earlier when he was up at the DMZ this morning. He talked about negotiations as well, but they specify that all options are on the table. And when a vice president of the most powerful country in the world makes a connection between a missile attack on Syria, an airbase there, and a missile attack or a bomb attack on Afghanistan, and then it's really a veiled warning, a thinly veiled warning to North Korea not to push President Trump too far. I think that's something that North Korea would have noticed, and potentially something that they will have a response to in the next few days.
The message is certainly very clear, isn't it? And then that call from Vice President Mike Pence to regional powers to unite against North Korea as well. Some very powerful messages coming out of just that short statement there.
Yes, he did seem fairly optimistic by what China has been doing at this point, and this is what we've heard from other officials, that they believe there may have been some kind of a turning point with China. We heard from the National Security Advisor as well, H.R. McMaster, in an interview with ABC this week, saying that many in the region, including China, believe that this has come to a head, that this is necessary to be dealt with now and not pushed further, kick the can along the road, as many claim strategic patience has been for many years. Certainly the critics say that. So there is a sense that the United States feels they are getting more from China. They are clear that they need to get more. Pence saying many times that he wants more from the regional powers, and it's important for those powers to be doing more. And clearly he's meaning China in that respect. But we are seeing a more positive response and reaction towards China than we certainly have seen before that meeting between Xi Jinping and President Trump.
In these statements from the acting president of South Korea and from Vice President Pence, we know that, Vice President Pence said that the commitment is strong, that it is ironclad. Let's listen here to just a clip here from what we heard of the Vice President on the podium just a moment ago.
On behalf of the President of the United States, my message to the people of South Korea is this: we are with you 100%. Even in these troubled times, we stand with you for a free and secure future. The United States of America stands shoulder to shoulder with the Republic of Korea, and the service and vigilance of some 37,500 U.S. soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines on this frontier of freedom stands as a testament to the enduring partnership between our people. The alliance between South Korea and the United States is the linchpin of peace and security on the Korean Peninsula and indeed throughout the Asian Pacific. The United States commitment to South Korea is ironclad and immutable.
The Vice President there, Mike Pence, standing beside Hwang Kyo-ahn, the acting president of South Korea. Keep in mind, he pointed out May 9th that there will be a transition happening in South Korea, but nonetheless, whoever comes to power, the Vice President saying that the relationship between the South Koreans and the United States will not change.
Well, that's right. It's an interesting time to actually come to a country when you're just a few weeks away from a presidential election. But that really indicates that the U.S. felt that this couldn't wait any longer. You've had the Secretary of State, the Defense Secretary, now the Vice President, coming to a country that effectively has no president. The former president has been impeached and is imprisoned at this point on corruption allegations. And an acting president is going to be out of power within a few weeks. So it's a very interesting time to come, and shows that the U.S. believe that this simply couldn't wait. One thing that the Vice President did say was he talked of the most urgent and dangerous threat to peace whilst talking about North Korea. And in that soundbite that you just played, it was interesting that he mentioned the number of U.S. military here, 37,500. Usually on the Korean Peninsula or in South Korea, you have 28,500 U.S. military based here. He's alluding once again that there is an awful lot more U.S. military here right now. You have the USS Carl Vinson, which is off the coast somewhere at this point. We know that that attack, that aircraft carrier strike group. We understand that these military assets have been beefed up. So he's really specifying that there is a lot more of a U.S. military presence here right now than there usually is.
And Paula, let's just listen again to what the Vice President Mike Pence had to say about strategic patience being a thing of the past. Let's listen.
For more than 2 decades, the United States and our allies have worked to peacefully dismantle North Korea's nuclear program and alleviate the suffering of their people. But at every step of the way, North Korea answered our overtures with willful deception, broken promises, and nuclear and missile tests. Over the past 18 months, North Korea has conducted 2 unlawful nuclear tests and an unprecedented number of ballistic missile tests, even conducting a failed missile launch as I traveled here for this visit. The era of strategic patience is over.
A very clear message there, Paula. A message perhaps not only for North Korea, but also for China.
Well, that's right. This is a message that we are hearing time and time again now from the Trump administration. Rex Tillerson, the Secretary of State, gave that exact quote just a matter of weeks ago when he was here in South Korea. It's a very clear signal that the policy of the Obama administration has changed, that this strategic patience, which did have many critics towards the end, is over. Of course, 8 years of strategic patience, or among probably not that long. At the beginning, they did try to engage with North Korea, but within that time, North Korea has increased its nuclear and missile program significantly, especially since Kim Jong-un took power just 5 years ago. The intensity of the testing of those programs has been unprecedented in North Korea's history. So certainly many experts believe that there needed to be a change of tack. Of course, there's only a certain amount of options you have when you're trying to deal with North Korea. But this is really a message that the Trump administration has been trying to hammer home, that there was going to be a change, that something different was going to happen. We haven't had exact details of what this North Korean policy would be. Again, saying all options are on the table, which coincidentally is exactly what the Obama administration had said as well. But they are trying to give the impression that something is changing and something is moving forward.
All right, our Paula Hancock's with that live report from Seoul in South Korea, where it is 4:10 in the afternoon. Many thanks to you. And for more on the tensions between the US and North Korea, we're joined now from Rome by Silvia Borelli. She is a reporter for Politico. Thank you so much for talking with us. And no doubt you had the opportunity to watch that joint statement there with Mike Pence, the Vice President of the United States, and indeed the acting president there in South Korea. Korea, a very firm sense that we are united here, the US saying we're with you 100%, and a clear message to North Korea and indeed to China, don't test us.
Exactly, Rosemary. Pence did want to show once again the U.S.'s resolve in this situation with North Korea. He wanted to reiterate that the U.S. is going to back South Korea. And of course, there was a subtle message there to China, because of course, China here is key. What we've been seeing in the past few days is also a shift in President Trump's attitude towards China, which in this situation is probably the only way and the only country and the only government that somehow has leeway on North Korea because of North Korea's economic dependence on China. And so probably a clear shift in the attitude towards China, and at the same time a strong message of the U.S.'s resolve. Although at this stage it really looks like the U.S. is trying to find a diplomatic solution, a political solution, and not trying to escalate the tensions too far as the military conflict.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you this too, because we all know, the world knows, that the leader of North Korea, Kim Jong-un, is unpredictable. But there's the fear too that US President Donald Trump is as well. And this is what worries people, because there's this brinkmanship. And for many watching across the globe, they don't know what's going to happen next. And they are worried that the US will strike.
Right, and as you said, both leaders are unpredictable, probably in different ways. On one side, Trump is very vocal. We know he uses Twitter as a way to communicate with the rest of the world very often. On the other side, Kim Jong-un is very quiet. We don't really know what's in his head, but we do know that North Korea wants to have a global recognition of its nuclear power. Trump has been vocal on wanting to stop this nuclear proliferation, and here in Europe, I have heard analysts and I have been hearing comments of people that are actually worried about this sudden shift in U.S. policy because, of course, we've seen the intervention in Syria and Afghanistan recently. We've seen an earlier intervention in Yemen, which didn't really go down that well. And so there are people, especially here in Europe, that are quite concerned in this escalation of the U.S. being very vocal about having to somehow curtail this North Korean problem. But at the same time, we've heard the South Koreans and the Japanese as well backing the U.S. in this effort to, force Pyongyang to stop this nuclear proliferation and somehow cut back on its nuclear arsenal. Of course, here, China is key, and the only way to find some sort of political solution to this is by having China on the U.S. side and having China collaborate. But at the same time, of course, China also has its own political interests. So we're going to have to see until what point China is going to want to give in to the U.S.'s requests and abandon North Korea altogether, given their long economic ties, which I think have been going on since the 1960s. So it's a quite tangled situation. It doesn't have an easy solution. And so we're going to have to see from here what happens. And hopefully President Trump isn't going to go too far.
There is a lot of nervousness in the region and indeed across the globe. The ball appears to be in China's court right now. Sylvia Borelli, thank you so much for talking with us. We appreciate it.
A great deal happening on the Korean Peninsula. The Vice President reassuring allies, though, that the U.S. is committed to its position there. This is CNN Newsroom. We'll be right back after the break.